Welcome back, everybody. You guys should see what's like on the other side of this camera. I'm actually gonna go ahead and show you. What are you doing? Are you eating an ice cream cone? It must be good, huh? Oh my goodness. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Hello, my name is Sophia, and today I'm going to be telling you guys my labor and delivery story. I asked Stanley to leave, but he's like, no, we're gonna be here as moral support. So if you see me looking away, it's because I'm being distracted by my beautiful daughter and Stanley eating an ice cream cone.
Beautiful daughter and Stanley?
My beautiful daughter and my boyfriend. Is that better? Oh, I need to add another adjective in there, huh?
Yes.
And my annoying boyfriend.
Try again.
Oh, and my...
Amazing.
Oh, look, Dad's here. You know what? We probably are going to have to do this at another time. Okay, I'm back. Today, I'm going to be filling you guys in on my labor and delivery experience as a first-time pregnant person. Well, then pregnant person. I am now a mama. Oh, what's wrong, baby? Come here.
Show them what came out.
And this is what I got at the end of my experience. Of course, she was a little bit smaller. I wanted to record this for first-time moms out there and, you know, anyone else who's interested. Like, a true, real labor and delivery experience, not like the, it was wonderful and I didn't feel a thing. No, this is how it really goes, okay? So this video is going to be very graphic. It's going to include very gory details. If that thing is not for you, don't watch it because it's going to be, like I said, very graphic. So I guess we can start with labor and then we'll get to the delivery. So I delivered Olivia on her due date. Her due date was November the 28th, 2017, and she was born November the 28th, 2017 at 11:30. Who is texting me? Oh, I also wrote down my labor and delivery story in my notes just to make sure I don't miss anything. So if you see me looking down at my phone, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I delivered her on a Tuesday, the 28th. So the day before, Monday the 27th, I had my 40-week appointment. And I was, I think, 2 centimeters dilated. I was 2 centimeters dilated and everything looked good. I really wasn't feeling any contractions, any pain, nothing like that. I really thought I was gonna go over my due date. And so my OB, he was like, do you wanna have this baby? And I was like, yeah, because I was fed up. I was so done with being pregnant. Like, I was crying every single night to Stanley. I was like, this hurts me. Like, I am over it. Like, once you get to like 38 weeks pregnant, you're huge. You feel like you just got to take a big poop that just won't come out. Your organs are just like stuffed up with each other, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So when he asked me if I wanted to have the baby, I was like, F yes. And he says he's going to do a membrane sweep. And strip my membranes, which is also known as your mucus plug, I think. So what he does is he takes his 2 fingers and he reaches up there and he does like this. And so he reaches up in there and he does this and he's like, did that hurt? And I'm like, no, I didn't really feel anything, right? He's like, okay, that didn't hurt. I'll do the second one, right? I felt bamboozled because he goes like this, and I'm like, whoa, man, this was not what you did the first time. What was that? And even Stanley, he was standing there, he kind of jumped. He was like, you good? Because that looked like it hurt.
Dude, well, I'm like, oh, no. It was kind of weird watching somebody else's hand in my woman. I felt useless.
So yeah, that's his experience with that. So he did that. I was bamboozled, and like immediately after that I just started feeling, I don't want to say period cramps because it didn't feel like that, but just like you could feel like something was going on, and you know, unbeknownst to me, those were contractions. So it kind of just felt like a little bit of pressure. And so he was like, okay, so hopefully I'll see you tonight. And I'm like, okay. So we left the doctor's office, and that was around 1 o'clock on Monday. And we had to go run some errands, and so we ended up on a college campus, and we ended up walking around for a while. And that, like, the pressure, it wasn't pain. I didn't feel pain. I was like, okay, I kind of feel a little something, but I don't really think he did anything. I didn't think anything was gonna happen. So I'm like, okay, so we walked around, and I'm sure that helped bring on my actual labor. And so we get home from running our errands and walking, and it's around, yes, it's around about, I don't know, 6 o'clock. So I make spaghetti for dinner, and it was a big meal. FYI, guys, if you guys know you're in labor, do not have a big meal beforehand, because you are going to poop the entire time. Just letting you know. Keeping it real.
You didn't poop at all.
Oh, don't lie to me. I know I did.
It was so
The nurse is going to tell you if you're asking. You're like, am I pooping? They're going to be like, no, sweetie, you're not pooping. Just know you're pooping.
He took so much shit, though. I was like,
oh!
You were pooping.
Y'all, that spaghetti was good, though. Like, it was delicious. So anyways, I made dinner, and I felt like the pressure, like, kind of building up. But again, I wasn't in pain. So I made dinner, and we watched TV, just chilled that night. And around 9 o'clock, Stanley was in bed, and I was just sitting out on the couch watching TV. And literally, I heard a, and I was like, what was that? And my pants got wet, and I'm like, oh my goodness, was this my water? So, oh, what's the matter? Come here. Oh my god, you were so fat. You were
just
so
like your daddy.
So I felt the pop, and I felt my pants get wet, so I get up and I waddle on over to the bathroom, and sure enough, like, I thought I peed myself, but like I wiped, and it just like kept like trickling out, and I was like, I think this is my water. And I looked at the tissue, and it like wasn't yellow in color, so I didn't think it was pee. It was like, it kind of had like a pink tinge to it. Hey, I'm talking. It kind of had like a pink tinge to it, so I'm assuming there was just like a little bit of blood in it too, like amniotic fluid. I don't know, this is just my experience. So once I'm pretty sure it was my water, and at my OB appointment earlier in the day, the doctor told me that if my water broke, or if my contractions... Okay, so the doctor said that if my contractions were 5 minutes apart, or if my water broke, that I needed to come into the hospital. So that night, once my water had broken, I got up from the toilet, and I came into the room, and Stanley was already asleep. So I turned on the light. I'm like, Stanley, and he's like kind of groggy, waking up. I'm like, Stanley, and he's like, what? I was like, my water broke, right? And he sits there, he's like, I said, Stanley, my water broke, and he's like, he got up so quick, and he's like, okay, we gotta go. So I already had my hospital bag, the suitcase, packed and in the car, so the only thing that needed to get to the car was me. But I wanted to shower first, because I hadn't showered all day, and I'm like, I am not about to meet my child all nasty, so I wanted to shower. So I'm like, I'm gonna shower first, and he's like, what? You know, we need to get to the hospital. Like, I don't want to say he was freaking out, but you could see that he was like, he knew that it was his job to get me there, and he was like, come on, let's go. So anyway, after my water broke and continued to leak out of me, that is when shit got real, okay? My contractions went to something that I thought were contractions to, yes, I am contracting, I am in pain, I could barely move. It just, every 3 minutes or so, I just felt my stomach tightened up so much, and I had to like brace myself onto something. I was screaming in pain. Like, I don't do good with pain, and it was rough. Like, I'm not saying this to scare anybody, But I just want you to know what you're in for. And of course, everybody's labor and delivery experience is different, but here's mine. Like, I was in a lot of pain once my water broke, but I still was very adamant on going to take a shower. So Stanley was like packing up the car and everything, and I'm like trying to waddle myself to the shower, and like I'm in the shower, I'm brushing my hair, and every like 3 minutes I have to just brace myself because I was in so much pain. Like, I was getting weak and dizzy. I wanted to throw up. It was just rough. So I get out the shower, I am still leaking water, and I put on my sweats. I put like 3 pads in my panties. That really didn't do anything. I leaked all over the car, even with 2 towels down. It was disgusting. It was disgusting. Like, there is nothing beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful experience, but there is nothing like aesthetically pleasing about birth.
Nope.
It's just all nasty. The only thing that's like aesthetically pleasing once it's clean is your child.
Once it's clean.
Once it's clean, because everything down there, don't look for like a month, because you're gonna scare yourself, okay? So, I get out the shower, still screaming in pain, got my clothes on, and it literally took me 10 minutes to get out to the car when it should have taken me like 30 seconds in like normal, not contracting in labor people time. So I get into the car and I am screaming. It's about a 20-minute drive to the hospital, and I was just in so much pain. Like, I was crying. Sitting up in the car was very painful, so I leaned the seat back all the way down, and I was just trying to move and get comfortable, because sitting in an upright position did not help me. It made things worse. So my sister took this video. I'm going to insert it into the clip here. Like, what I remember is me screaming out in pain, right? But I'm pretty sure it sounds like I am moaning like very sexually the entire time on our way there. So Stanley's driving, and like I'm in pain, contracting, and I can tell he's driving not erratically but very quick, trying to get to our destination, because I'm in just so much pain. And so what seems like an eternity probably was only about 15 minutes. Oh, like 10 minutes.
Not even.
Okay.
Girl, I got there like 6 minutes.
Yeah, he had one job and he did it phenomenally.
Right?
So we get to the hospital, and my sister, she was with us, and she walks in with me, and we had been to the hospital about 2 weeks before, and they asked me, they were like, is it time? And I was like, no, y'all will know when it's time. I'm gonna come in here screaming. And so they said, okay, so here's what you do when you come in the 2 weeks prior. So I knew where to go. I was like, just like bracing myself on stuff, trying to get over to the administration desk to get checked in. And I forgot to mention this, but on the way to the hospital, I called them and let them know I was coming so they could have stuff pre-filled out for me, just to make things a little bit speedier, because I was in so much pain. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 20. It hurt so much. I'm almost gonna cry thinking about it because I was in that much pain. So, like, my one tip, I'm gonna have a couple tips in this, but like one of my tips is, when you are on your way to the hospital, call the hospital and let them know that you're coming, and have your significant other, you know, give them your information. So when you get there, you can get checked in quicker. That means you can get to your room quicker and get your drugs quicker, if that's what you're about, which is what I was about. So anyway, we walked to the administration desk, and by walk, I mean like walk, in pain, walk, in pain. And I finally get to the desk, and I'm still leaking fluid everywhere, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. She's like, don't worry, sweetie, it's waterproof. And she gets me checked in, and I guess hospital policy is that you have to use a wheelchair to get to your room. And when I say sitting in an upright position was the most uncomfortable thing for me, it was. And I begged her, I said, please, can I walk? and she couldn't. She had to wheel me down. So I would get in the wheelchair, and we would get like about 30 feet, and then I would feel another contraction, and I had to stand up, and I had to just like get in a position where I was just like moving, because that made the pain a little less intense.
It made it durable.
Yeah, no, it was not durable. Don't listen to what he says. He didn't go through what I went through. It made it a little bit less intense. I was still screaming in pain. So finally I get to the hospital room. They check me just to make sure that like what I'm leaking is, you know, amniotic fluid, like your water. And they were like, yeah, you're in labor. And I was like, no shit, obviously, because I'm in pain. And so when they checked me, I was dilated to I was 3 centimeters dilated. And I forgot to tell this, but by the time we get there, it's like 10:30. So my water broke at 9, and we got there around 10:30. So I'm dilated to a 3. They're going to keep me and admit me. And they were like, do you want an epidural? Before the nurse even finished the sentence, do you want an epidural? I was like, yes, give me the drugs. I want the gas. I want the epidural. I want anything to take this away. Because I'm literally like twisting in pain, because it's at this point, it's like every minute, and I was in so much pain. Like, I cannot stress that enough, you guys. So she says, okay, we'll go ahead and get you set up. We need to take some blood first and, you know, make sure that you are okay for an epidural and get your labs back. So it's 10:30, and around 11:30, the anesthesiologist finally comes in to give me my epidural. Now, when I tell you guys that sitting in an upright position was the most uncomfortable thing for me, in order to get an epidural, you have to sit straight with your back straight while you're contracting, excuse me, in order for the anesthesiologist to go ahead and, you know, give you your epidural. And the nurse is like, you know, you're gonna have to stay still. I was like, yeah. So I sat there on the bed, crisscross applesauce, while I'm contracting in so much pain, and I just told myself, I reassured myself, I was like, when she does this, you know, you'll be better, you'll be fine. And that was probably like the hardest 3 minutes of my life, just trying to stay still so she didn't like paralyze me. But I can tell you guys that once the epidural kicked in, and it was about 10 minutes after that, I felt so good. My legs went completely numb. Like, I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't lift my legs, and all I felt was just like a little bit of pressure of the contractions. And you could see on the screen when they hook you up that, you know, I was contracting, but I didn't feel anything. So it was great. Like, I was on cloud 9.
Oh my gosh, you're so hard right now. I'm not hard. I'm just not screaming. Okay?
I'm not going to tell you that you should get an epidural, but if you want one, like, get one. So many people have tried to scare me beforehand, saying that an epidural messes up your system. They're not giving birth, I am, and I'm in pain, and these doctors are offering me something to make my experience that much better. I'm going to take it. So once the drugs hit, it was around 12 o'clock, you know, after I got my epidural, and I was finally fine. Stanley, my sister, my mom had gotten there, my dad, my stepmom, they were all there. And they were all waiting in the waiting room because I decided that I wanted to get some sleep. You know, I'm finally not in pain anymore. So I get like 2 hours of sleep. And at 3 a.m. they wake me up to check me, and I am at 6 centimeters. And I was like, awesome, man, this is great. So I fall back asleep, and then at 6 a.m. they check me, and I'm at 8 centimeters. And like, this is where it's starting to like pick up. I'm like, oh crap, I'm really having a kid today. So at 8 a.m. they checked me again, and I was still at 8 centimeters. So that's when they decided that they need to give me Pitocin, because looking at the screen, my contractions had kind of like fizzed out, and they need to get them going back up again so I could get fully dilated. So they give me the Pitocin, and around 9:30 the nurse checks me, and I'm at 10 centimeters. And so the doctor, my OB, he still isn't there yet, but like as a new mom, I got really scared because I'm like, oh my god, I'm at 10 centimeters. That means like it's time to start pushing and get this baby out, which is the thing I was scared of the most, because I ain't never done this before. I kept telling myself, I was like, my body was made for this, I can do it. Women have been doing this since the beginning of time. It's your time, Sophia. You can do it. So at 9:30, I'm at 10 centimeters, and she says, let's start doing practice pushes. And so I'm pushing, and she's like, you're not doing it right. Like, I'm trying to, like, squeeze something out. Like, it feels like I'm almost doing a crunch. You know, that feeling when you guys are, like, squeezing something out of your stomach. Not out of your stomach, but, like, doing a crunch, like that motion. I was doing that, and she's like, no, 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 you're not doing it right. It literally feels like you're taking the biggest dump of your life. Because I was. But you literally just like have to push with your ass. Like, if you feel like you're pooping, you probably are, but that means you're doing it right. She laughed. Did you hear that? She's like, ha, mom pooped herself. Like I said, that spaghetti was bomb, you guys, so do not be discouraged. The labor and delivery nurses, they see it all the time. They're like, oh, sweetie, it's okay. They were both awesome. Like, it was a great experience. All my healthcare professionals were amazing. So shout out to them. So I'm doing my practice pushes, and the nurse, I keep telling her, like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. And she's like, you kind of are. Do you feel anything? I was like, I can't really feel if I'm pushing. And she says, okay, we're going to turn down your epidural so you can at least feel what you're doing. So I guess I would say they, like, downed it by 50%. So I started to feel the contractions, but it was nothing close to the pain I was in before the epidural. But I could also feel that I was pushing now. So I'm doing my practice pushes, and I practice push for maybe about 30-45 minutes, and I'm getting really tired. And to help Olivia drop down, because I guess she was stuck or something, like she really wasn't getting any closer with all the practice pushes I was doing, they put like this big old peanut in between my legs. So from like 10:30 to 11, I think I take about like a half-hour nap, just trying to build up my strength in order to push Olivia out. And I guess the peanut helped because she said the baby had dropped some more, and you know, she was like going into the birth canal, I guess. And now it's time to start pushing for real. And this whole time, like, I have yet to see my OB, okay? When I tell y'all, he just came in, caught Olivia, and, you know, was there to officially birth her. Like, that's what he did. The nurses really pushed me through. So Stanley stood next to me holding my hand because I was like, don't look down there, please. You're gonna get scarred. Like, I don't want you to see this.
I looked.
He looked.
I got scarred.
He's scarred.
I didn't want to see it.
But he looked, like I told him not to.
I had
And
no
so
choice.
I was allowed to have as many people in the room to like deliver Olivia as I wanted to, but I really only wanted Stanley, and I told my sister to take pictures. Her poor little soul, she's scarred too because she saw everything, but I don't think she'll be having a child anytime soon, so I think that is very good birth control. You know, all these teenagers need to see a live birth, and then they'll be like, nah,
We good.
sex ain't for me.
Right?
So the people in the room were just my mom, Stanley, and my sister. So Stanley was holding my hand, my mom had one of my legs, and I guess this student who was becoming a nurse in the labor and delivery suite, she had one of my other legs. So they both hold my legs, and when I tell you, they push your legs, like my legs felt like they were in, like, by my ears.
Because they were.
And I guess that helps, and that's when I started doing like my 10-second pushes. So like they would push my legs all the way up to like my ears, and they would tell me to sit up. Like I felt like I was doing a pregnant sit-up, and you just have to like push like you're taking like the biggest dump of your life. So here we are at 11 o'clock, and I'm pushing for real, and I push for exactly 30 minutes, and my OB literally walks in, gowns up, puts the little helmet face mask on, and catches Olivia. Like, he was
like, you ready? Here we go.
She was almost about to like be delivered, and they told me, they were like, wait, he's gowning. I'm like, I can't wait, this baby, she's coming now. So I start pushing, and he comes in, you know, delivers her. And I didn't find this out till about 2 months after Olivia was born, but she was born with her cord wrapped around her neck. My OB, he was so quick, apparently. He just untangled it and he was like, okay, the baby's here. And when Olivia was born, she didn't cry. They put her on my chest and she didn't cry. And you guys like know, like that's like that's the first thing you're waiting for. You're waiting to hear your baby cry. And I had just birthed her and I'm like, what's wrong with her? Why isn't she crying? And she was just chilling, man. She was like, okay, I'm here. She made out this little So my OB got a little worried, right? He takes her and he just like, I don't want to say slaps her, but just like, you know, rubs her really vigorously to get everything moving. And she goes, ah!
There it is.
Like that. What's wrong?
I won't give her the calf.
Because Olivia didn't cry much at all.
And she still doesn't unless like she wants something.
And then she was like that. And then the doctors and the nurses says, you guys are lucky because they come out welling. And then that just means the kind of child they're going to be. And Olivia came out calm and she was calm. That means she's going to be a calm baby. Which she was. Oh my God.
She got the calf.
I know.
Okay.
I'm watching her. Where she, oh buddy. Which made us lucky as our first child to be a calm one. She only cries when she needs something.
Okay, back to the story. So, this is where things take a very dramatic turn for the nasty. Once your child is born, woohoo, yay, you did it.
Nope.
Next is the delivery of the placenta.
Ooh.
I just want to say gross. Like, I didn't see it, but I felt it and it was nasty. So after she was born, maybe about 3 minutes later, I delivered the placenta and it just took like one little baby push compared to the pushes I was doing to get her big-headed self out. So yeah, that happened. And then if you deliver vaginally, there is a chance that you are going to tear. Okay? Shit happens, okay? So I had a 1st-degree tear, and you guys can look it up on Google. Google it, you know? A 1st-degree tear is like the most minimal tear you can have. Sometimes it requires stitches, and I had to get stitches in a place that no person should ever have to have stitches.
You feel it even when it's gone, from what I hear.
Okay. And when I tell y'all, I felt him stitch me every stitch. I felt it. And I think there's a video of me because he kept saying, this is the last one, right? And I'm like, okay. And he did it like 2 more times and I'm like, you lied, okay? You keep lying.
Like, yeah, I'm sorry, that was the last one. Just one more. Just to keep it safe. Just 3 more.
He did like 3 more and I straight up got up with Olivia on my arms. I was like, you're lying. Stop. Stop lying. If I have 5 more stitches, tell me I got 5 more stitches because I keep thinking this is going to be the last one and it's not. Yeah, I didn't count, so I'm not sure how many stitches I had, but it was a pretty incredible experience. So after he stitched me up, he left, everything was great. And I had the first hour by myself. So once they made sure Olivia was great and good, you know, the nurses, they leave and they give me and Stanley an hour to just like have skin to skin. And I did the skin to skin with her because I wanted to breastfeed her and she is still currently breastfed. So I breastfed for about an hour. And yeah, that was my labor and delivery experience. I will say that the hardest thing about labor and delivery, like my contractions were pretty rough, but like nothing compares to the recovery for me. Like that was the worst part, and that is the part that I think a lot of people forget. I couldn't walk right.
Well, it was a 3rd.
Yeah, I couldn't walk right for about 3 weeks, and it hurt for me to sit like straight up for about 2 weeks. So I say as long as you can get over like that 2-week hump, that's when things started to get better for me as far as like my pain on like sitting directly on my vag. And like my stitches, my hemorrhoids, my UTI. It was just all around like not the most pleasurable experience, but something that you really do appreciate because every single mother goes through this, and it's something that you can look at other moms and be like, You know what I went through because you went through it too, so we have suffered enough together. What's wrong, baby? So that is my labor and delivery experience. I hope I didn't scare anyone, but I really want to be like 100% honest about the stuff that goes on, just so you can be fully prepared. My like 3 biggest suggestions are that 1, if you are in pain and you are offered pain medications, take them. Take the epidural, take the laughing gas. It's going to help you so much. Don't be afraid to go away from your birth plan. If you plan on having a natural birth, because at one time I really did think about having a natural birth. And then now thinking back on it, I'm like, oh, you stupid fool. Like, you really thought you could do that without the drugs. So don't be afraid to go away from what you thought would be. Because, like, really, you can plan to an extent on how you want your birth to go. But it's like, you can't plan anything. So just be ready for change. My second piece of advice would be to don't worry about the poop. Your baby is like literally coming out and squeezing everything in your body out, okay? So you're gonna poop. It's okay. Everybody poops. I even think there's a book called that. So everybody poops. Don't worry about it. And my third piece of advice is like take everything in for your experience, because like I was in so much pain. I was like ready to get it over with. Like I was like, just give me my baby. Like I want to be done with this. I want to go home. But now looking back on it, I wish that I had taken in my experience more. Just remembered everything that happened. And then I do have a fourth tip. A fourth tip for you. You just did the hardest thing probably in your life. So if somebody is offering you help because you can't get up, you can't do this, please take it. Don't be afraid to, you know, accept the help that others are giving. But other than that, you know, this was a rough experience for me. It was a great one. It was trying, it was complicated, it was hard, it was scary, it was beautiful. It was just so many adjectives. But the best part about it was getting her. And I'm gonna add some videos and some pictures in on the end just so you can see like how alien-like she looked when she was born, and how out of it I looked. Like I looked like a hot stinking mess. Like, who is she? So everyone, I just want to thank everybody for watching this video. Like I said, I hope it gives you some insight on what like labor and delivery really is. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I will answer pretty much anything. So until next time, thank you very much for watching this video. I have a couple of other videos on my channel if you guys are interested. I do appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you guys next time. Can you say bye? Bye, internet people. Bye, mommies, people who watches the videos. Goodbye. Alright, bye guys. Thanks for watching.
Is she making a sad face? I don't know if she got an attitude yet. She might have that Puerto Rican attitude.